Hello and welcome to the Strategies for Innovative Development case study video series. In these short videos, I share examples of how I have been able to work with leaders and their teams to build more innovative organisation cultures. I demonstrate how it's possible to use the Strategies for Innovative Development, or SID tool, to diagnose core issues, frame appropriate challenge questions, generate original ideas, and produce practical action plans for innovative change. I explain how the SID approach has enhanced individual creative confidence, along with team and organisation culture, with up to 25% improvements as a result. You will find a summary of key practical takeaway actions that can be applied in any context at the end of each video. I believe that these actions will help to build individual innovative problem-solving capabilities, mindsets, and skills, and they will demonstrate how it's possible to create an innovative problem-solving culture in any team or organisation. I hope you enjoy the series. So, a case study. I'm taking an example of one of the clients that I've worked quite extensively with, and I worked with this organisation for over 3 years. So I was able to be embedded in the organisation to get to know them quite well. This was an international agricultural company, and this organisation partnered with farmers to improve agricultural practices in rural communities in Asia. And so it was a really interesting organisation doing really valuable work. And over the 2-year period that I worked with that client, I was doing sort of some research-based work and consulting to them. And I identified there were some real issues with communication and collaboration between the international teams. And what was happening was that the CEO became very concerned that there was a lack of original ideas and initiatives. So people were just doing what they'd always done and following routines rather than being proactive and stepping up and thinking about what could they do differently. And they weren't working very effectively, they were working in silos. So what I did was I spent a while in a diagnostic phase, and this is really important in any research, in any consulting work, in any work that you do in the organisation. Start with trying to understand what the core problems are. So this diagnostic phase, in that diagnostic phase, I conducted a lot of interviews, I had focus groups, and I spent time just immersed in the organisation, just sitting, watching meetings, watching how people were interacting with each other. And it gave me a really strong sense of what the culture was and what the issues were. And what I saw was that when, one particularly interesting point was when the CEO held a meeting with the executive team, I noticed that he would sit in the corner with his arms crossed. And if one of the other team members brought up an interesting idea, they would sort of say it hesitantly. So they would say, you know, how about we conduct blah, 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 such and such. And then they would look over at the CEO sitting in the corner to see his reaction. And you could tell that they were a bit nervous about how he would react. And typically the CEO would come in very abruptly with a response, something like, oh, we've done that before, we don't have the budget for that, there's no time for that. And he would shut down these ideas. And you could see how he was actually shaping the organisational culture without realising it. He wanted his team to take initiative, but they were scared and they were constantly getting shut down. So I'd spent some time giving him feedback about his leadership style. And then I spent some time designing a program for all of the employees and for all of the leaders and managers. And that involved workshops, coaching, and a series of programs. And what I focused on was helping them develop their innovative problem-solving skills. So giving them the confidence to think innovatively, and to solve problems that they came across, which made them more independent and more proactive. And through the diagnostics coaching, the workshops, then I helped them to develop their personal and interpersonal capabilities. And because I have a long time to work with this organisation, we had great results. And you'll see here that they improved in terms of their individual capabilities, their team effectiveness, and their organisation culture overall. So in terms of their individual creative solving capabilities or innovative problem solving capabilities, there was a 13% improvement. In terms of team culture, it was in different teams, there was up to 25% reported improvements with an average of 13% improvement. And then overall as an organisation, there was improvements by 10 to 14% of reported feeling about how the culture was improved. So that was pretty dramatic, pretty amazing results from developing these particular capabilities. And that's why I so strongly believe in following these two particular core areas.